Hi, everybody. God, that was so beautiful. There's tissues everywhere. I stopped at Kroger's. There you go. I need to keep them up here, but you can take one. So I just love Rhonda and Joel and little Serenity Luna. They've just been such a part of our spiritual family. I'm going to miss you so much. But there's such a sweet story that I want to share with you all because it truly is the healing hands of God that played a role in your life and in ours. And I'll see if I can get through this. Lord Nelson, was a part of our ministry and our baby, and all of you who've been here have known him. He was here every Sunday, and he was a total character and so beloved. And he had a short but mighty life. He was 7, and he had a real aggressive cancer that tumors in a matter of weeks were just all over his body. And so we made the decision that as soon as we saw there was any suffering, that we were going to put him down. And we did that on April 16th, which was about a month and a half ago. No one could ever take the place of Nelson. You all know that. Nelson is like such a trip. And so, our hearts were just absolutely broken. And Nelson had a brother named Pablo, who we had for 9 years. You remember Pablo. And he was equally a character. And he died young, too. He was just 9. He had Cushing's, and so we put him down. And when we did, Nelson was thrilled. Because he was like, yay, I get all the attention now. So for a little while. And then Maggie, are you here today, honey? Okay, there's Maggie Odell, who is a lover of humans and critters. And she found this little baby. And she couldn't find its parents. And she knew how much we loved Malteses. And so she gave this little baby to us, and I named her Angel. And Nelson hated her. He hated her so much that, if you can believe it, I let go of this precious, adorable baby. But I gave her to the most loving and beautiful people on the planet, which was Joel and Rhonda and their little granddaughter, Luna Serenity, and just knew that it was a great fit, and it was. So they had her for 3 years. April 16th, we put Nelson down. That was a Saturday at noon. Sunday morning, we came to church without Nelson for the first time. I was in the office, and Joel came in and closed the door, and he said, "We're moving to California, and we can't take Angel with us. Can you take Angel back?" Now, if that doesn't tell you that it is a benevolent, loving, intelligent universe, I don't know what would. Because this little precious healed our hearts like I cannot even tell you. And the intelligence was so great that now little Serenity, who you saw the picture of before that, they've had to be very careful in how they have managed her feelings and what's going on. And so they've done it in little bits. So we've sort of like had shared custody for the last month and a half so that Luna could get used to not having her baby all the time. And there's still a few more things that have to fall into place before they can actually tell her that they're moving and that Angel's ours for good. Serenity asked them a couple of weeks ago, she said, is Miss Dyann finished grieving yet? She was really happy to share with me, but, it was her baby. So anyway, they are such great parents, and so I know they'll handle it beautifully. But on Wednesday, I officially got my baby. And please don't post anything on Facebook about this in case Serenity or her friends, we have to be sensitive to that until about mid-June. But I just had to share that story, and thank you all so much because, I know the intelligence. It hurt so bad to lose Nelson that we couldn't process all the grief at once. So what happened was we would get this one for a few days, which would lift our spirits and fill us with joy. And then we would give her back, and our hearts would break again. And we'd grieve Nelson, and then when we just thought we couldn't stand it anymore, Joel and Ron would give her back to me. And so that's what's been going on for the last month and a half. And last night I was asleep, and little Angel has a little bed that's between Michael and I. And it's got her baby blanket in it, and she sleeps in it. And we all went to sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden there's this little thing, and she's found her way into my arms, and she's got her head resting on my chest. And I'm just like, oh my God. Just such love. So I just wanted to share that with you all this morning. So I'm going to let you all have your baby for just a little while. Let's see, we can go to, It takes a lot of energy to be authentic, doesn't it? Dear God. My question with myself this week was just how authentic do I really want to be with you all? And I didn't know until this morning. In fact, I was very confused, and I was still up last night at 10 o'clock trying to put the talk together. And I still don't have it together, and I have no idea what's really going to happen here. Well, yay! But I decided it's a new day at MCCSL. Because we're going to get real here. We have fun. It's a great community. It's social, fantastic music. But I'm telling you that there is a power that is so powerful that can change you and change your life, and we know how to make that happen. So I'm not going to hide it under a bushel anymore. And I don't want any of you to do that. Now, we might scare some of you away. And that's okay. You can just come on Sundays and sort of sit in the back and, get a little. But for those of you who really want to grow, who really want to change, who really want to know yourself, who really want to know God, plug in and get ready because we're taking off. I'm tired of playing small. That doesn't serve anyone, least of all me. So we're gonna get real here, and we're gonna be authentic, and we're gonna heal, and we're gonna become who we came here to be, who we really are. And that's what we've been talking about all week long. Not all week, all month. It's been such a great series. We've looked deeply at our authentic selves, what that is, what that means, how do we do that? And we began with the outline of what happens when you are actually in your authentic self. What do you feel? What do you experience? What are the qualities that come forth so that you can recognize the difference between the masks and the identities that you've taken on and the truth of who you really are. And there's some qualities that you will know and you will feel, and they are these. We talked about each of these. The first is wholeness. You will feel not separate. You will feel connected to everything, to everyone, to all of life. You will know that you are whole, complete, and perfect no matter what is going on, no matter what state you're in, that all is well and that you are whole. You will know that. So after I say this affirmation, repeat it after me. I am whole. I am complete. I am one with the one. I am whole. I am complete. I am one with the one. Reverence. Sweet, beautiful, sacred reverence. This is recognizing, feeling the palpatableness of the presence of life in everything. In every leaf that sways, in every little critter, in every human face, honoring all of it as sacred. The affirmation is, I revere all life because it is part of the whole and it is holy. I revere all life because it is part of the whole and it is holy. Fearlessness. Facing life fearlessly because you know that you are one with God. When you know who walks as you will not fear a thing. So the affirmation is, I know who walks as me, so I am fearless. I know who walks as me, so I am fearless. Integrity. Leading our life in such a way that we wouldn't be ashamed to sell our parrot to the town gossip. The affirmation is, my outer actions reflect my inner wholeness. My outer actions reflect my inner wholeness. And humility. Humility doesn't mean to be weak and pathetic. It means being open to seeing new viewpoints, new opportunities, being receptive to a new understanding, not stuck in your box, your beliefs, your opinions, and your points of views that keep you rigid. You're teachable. So in humility, I am open and receptive to life. In humility, I am open and receptive to life. And equanimity. This is having a balanced, even state of mind no matter what's going on. No matter if, like, you're winning the Grammys and selling 1 million books, or tragedy befalls you. Just right here. Just keeping it right here. So I face all of life's conditions with ease and grace. I face all of life's conditions with ease and grace. And finally, love, which is what you are, what this whole universe is, what is holding everything in place. It is infused in all things. And your authentic self is a direct descendant of this unconditional love, this benevolent, loving source of, and creator, this intelligence. It's loving. It's love. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you are the delivery system for it. You are an individuation of that love. So I am the perfect delivery system for love.
I am the perfect delivery system for love.
Now, what we want to do today, and this is so perfect as it always is, David was talking about spiritual mind treatment and the power that we have, that we know we have a system that works, where we can anchor ourselves in our authentic self with these amazing qualities through spiritual mind treatment, through our daily practice, through working with a practitioner and with a minister. Now, spiritual mind treatment is our form of affirmative prayer. It's got a very specific way in which it works. And so we have 5 parts to it, and the recognition is recognizing what God is, and the awesomeness and the bigness and the powerfulness and the love and the beauty that God is. And then what we've been talking about, knowing that we are a part of that. That's the unification. And then the realization is knowing what the spiritual truth is. Because the spiritual truth is that every heart's desire you have is already fulfilled. It's all there. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's already been given. It's just the fears and the masks that are blocking it. It's already been given. And then the power of thanksgiving. If you only say thank you, that's your only prayer, that is enough. There's such power in that. And then releasing. Some of us have a hard time letting go. It's like, okay, I want you to do all this stuff, and I'm going to just hold on and see if I can maybe make it happen. But the power is in letting it go and trusting and knowing. And divine timing. We believe in the power of prayer. It's the cornerstone of what we believe here. It's what we teach. It's the gift we have to give you and ourselves. So when we really have a good spiritual practice and we use these tools, we can stay anchored in our authentic self and in those beautiful qualities until I get scared. I don't feel good about myself. Something happens in my life that wasn't planned. I lose my job. I lose my sister. I lose my precious baby dog. I lose my mind. That could be a good thing. And then the faith and all of that goes out the window, right? It's like so easy to be like, just really zen and then like just crazy, right? So how do we, when that happens, and we know it will happen because that's life, right? Life happens. And if we don't have that equanimity muscle worked, it's going to throw us. So how do we get from there back to our authentic self? When we're in the storm, when we're in the valley, when conditions suck, yes, we do spiritual mind treatment, but see, first things first. You can't just gloss it over and put a Band-Aid on it and go, well, just think some positive thoughts about that. The only way out is through. Our feelings will take us back to our authentic self. So lean into them. Don't run from them. Medicate over them. Push them away, pray them away, affirm them away. Feel them. Rigorous honesty, the willingness to feel the pain and to stay in that pain long enough so that the wisdom that it has for you of what needs to happen next can be revealed. And then be willing to take those actions. Be willing to stay in the pain long enough. Because what you'll find, see, grace happens, and then you can feel your authentic self and, wholeness and equanimity and all of that. But you know what will also take you right to your authentic self? Pain. Pain. So, no spiritual bypassing. No spiritual bypassing. That's not what it's about. And I'm telling you that the ministers and the practitioners here, not only have they studied for years and years and years and taken tests and gotten licensed and became ordained and all of the work that goes into that, but even more than that, they've had to walk the walk and they've had to do that inner journey that I will tell you, it will absolutely, if you take it all the way, it will burn you up. It'll burn you up because that's the only way where there's room for the light to shine through. You can't be there anymore. Only God. If you want to be a channel and a vessel through which God expresses itself, guess what? You don't get to be there anymore. So be careful what you ask for. Because it's all, the spiritual path is about subtraction. It's not about addition. I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, It's man. Oh. Oh. I made that sound. Okay. So this little quote, you can quote me on this. I came up with this one yesterday. David? How can we really know the truth of our divinity if we're unwilling to really know the truth of our humanity? There's a middle path between being a bliss ninny and a drama queen. And the reason I know this, and the reason I can write this and claim it, is because I've been both. Well, yeah. Y'all know the bliss ninnies, right? My sister calls them the glassy-eyed folk. And the drama queens that are so caught up in their humanity, they just don't have a clue of who they really are, okay? So there's, we're teaching, see, love embraces it all. Your humanity and your divinity. You're not trying to get from here to there. You're trying to hold it all. And that's not an easy path, is it? But the cool thing is we have help. We have lots of help. We have lots of like-minded people that are doing this work. We have lots of people who have walked before us that can take our hand and walk us through something. There's not just life conditions that happen. There's also old stuff that we've never really dealt with. That'll pop up at the worst time ever. Right? Sometimes ancient stuff. So, on Monday nights, I participate in a very small spiritual support group. And I was actually, the group had been going on for a couple hours. It's like a 3-hour group. And so about 2 hours into it, I was sitting on the floor doing some stretching and they were talking about parenting and loving their children and giving and I don't know, they were just talking about all of that and all of a sudden I went, I was kind of half paying attention. I kind of went, I don't really know what you all are talking about. I don't have children. I have dogs. But I said, but what I know is that it's really hard for me to receive that because I had had a call from my mother that morning. And it was similar to many of the calls. She calls, she's all bubbly, she's a bliss ninny. She's all bubbly and happy, and she's just wanting to connect with her daughter, and she's chitter-chattering about this and that and this and that. And I'm pretending to be a little bit interested, and then I just can't stand it anymore. And I just like, okay, well, I have to go now, so I'll call you later this week. And I get off the phone, and then I'm like, I hate her. I can't stand this woman. He's laughing. Okay, the teenager's laughing. He knows. Okay, the rest of you need to get honest, okay? Y'all got mother issues. Now just come with me a little bit on this. And I'm like, I just can't stand her. God, she just drives me crazy, you know? Well, okay. So that happened. Not unusual. This is something that goes on all the time. Quite often. More often than not. So at this meeting, I'm like, or at this group, when I was talking about how hard it was for me to like receive the fact that my mother's like here, she's being loving, she's wonderful. My mother's wonderful. She's so sweet and she's so nice and she gives me stuff and she wants to connect and she's always happy to hear from me and she's always there and, you know, just, God, she's just awful, isn't she? And as I began to process this, I remembered that at Christmas time, my mother asked me a question, a 1,000-pound question, that I had spent years in therapy wanting her to ask me this question. And had finally, you know, given it up and just worked on the one person that I can change and blah, blah, blah. And at Christmas time, and I can't even imagine the courage that it took for her to ask this because my mom is a bliss nanny. She likes to pretend like everything is wonderful and everything is good. Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she asked me, she said, do you think I was a good mother? She's 83 now. The fact that she would even ask that question is so radical. Every mother has that question, but they don't speak it because they don't want to hear the answer. But do you know what? She asked, which means she was willing to hear. But you know what I did? I let her off the hook. Okay? Now, I was honest. I said something like, I was silent for a while. I was a little stunned. And I said, Mom, I really, really believe and know that you just did the absolute best that you could. Which is true. How authentic was that? Really? I'm realizing not really, because what was true was that I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel like I was a precious, amazing little being that was felt and seen and appreciated. Those were my feelings. Those are valid too. And so is, she did the best she could. They did a lot of things right. They really did love me. They gave me everything that I needed. But see, those feelings, who was reacting that day with, I can't stand her, was the 6-year-old, the 8-year-old, the 10-year-old, the teenager, who was like, quit pretending. Can we be real and have an authentic interaction? Well, I got to ask myself that. Can you, Dyann, when your mother says, was I a good mother? Can you be real and say, Mom, you hurt me. I know you love me, but you hurt me. And I didn't feel safe when I was little. And I know you probably didn't either. And that's, I got all the psychology of all of that. But see, that's the kind of authenticity I'm talking about. And Lucky, your authenticity yesterday. Is it all right if I share just a little bit? Because I was just blown away. It's on Facebook, for God's sakes. But she has a Bryn Brown quote that says, shame cannot exist when shared with empathy, which means that the reason you feel shame is because you're not speaking whatever is actually true and authentic. So what she did, she got fired. Who in their right mind would ever fire Lucky? Good God, even if she did nothing, you would still want her around, I'm serious. And you know what I think, Lucky, is that place is not big enough for what God has in store for you. That is the truth. That is the truth. But you know what? She went there. She went all the way there. I encourage you all to go to her Facebook post and read what she processed through. Because that was like as real as it gets. And that's the kind of work that it takes. And you are one of my teachers. And I thank you. And I'm so glad you'll have more time so that I can utilize your gifts and talents. Okay. So I realize I told you I didn't know what was going to happen here. So I was talking a little long. Let's see what's next. Okay. So that leads us to, it takes works, folks, but we know what to do. And not only do we know how to help you, we do the work ourselves. We walk the walk. I can't tell you what I do all week long so that I can stand up here and talk to you guys and not just be full of shit. Seriously. Michael shakes his head. I come home from group Monday night and I'm just a complete basket case. My eyes are swollen all over. 2 days afterwards, I'm depressed and crying. And then I go see some shaman and I'm coughing up for 2 hours like my ancestors' unspoken words. And I come home and Michael's just like, and I said, I just finally surrendered to it all. I said, Michael, my path is healing. This is just what I do, and so because I want it all, I want to go all the way there. I don't want to mess around anymore. If not now, when? It's like, can't you feel it's time? It's happening. Get on board or get crushed. You're being let go of your job, girl, because you got stuff to do. And where's Marietta? Yeah, she's same with you. Okay? No more of this Home Depot and, the school, I don't know what, your mom or whatever it was, your role was. It's like, you people are amazing. You have lived, you have felt, you have grown, you know things, you can help. And God knows this world needs help and people need help. So we need to all step up, do our own work, and be available to one another so that we can help support through this process, because it's happening. It's happening. Get on board. So that's where we're going. If you want to know what my vision is for this place, that's where we're going. And I can feel that's where you all want to go too. So I expect this place to explode, because if we know how to help, people should be lining up to every practitioner and every minister. Our calendars should be full with serving people. We're this little center, and we have 5 ministers and 7 practitioners. I mean, come on, folks. Pretty soon you're not going to be able to get an appointment. Okay? So, when these ministers and practitioners come up here at the end of the service, I don't want anyone to go out of here with anything on your heart. You grab somebody. You work it through. And Angel, she said amen. Okay, and so it is. That's what I'm talking about.